Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Tactical Muffin Top Tuesday night chat. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. We're here. We're ready to rock. Kind of. I sent out a bunch of links. I haven't seen anybody, but that is all right because we're going to do what we're going to do over here on the Muffin Top channel, y'all. So let me know how y'all are doing this evening. It is Tuesday. So we're gonna drop and rock the regular Tuesday chat, y'all. This is it's gonna be a zombie what if survival stream. I thought it would be fun. Hopefully you guys all like some zombies. I like to kind of go around this. This is like my favorite SHTF scenario. Um and it could kind of bleed over to, mutant whatever and aliens whatever. Generally any non-human life. This is kind of the same loadout kind of deal. This is kind of the same game plan, regardless of what may happen. What up, Nomad Remnant? Oh, you want in on this, brother? We are doing some zombie survival, bro. Fiend Dog, how you doing? So I got some links out. I don't know where everybody is. I texted them earlier today, and they're all like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." Demonic used, yeah, all that stuff. Same scenario, demons, angels, whatever stuff flying around. I may switch to a shotgun here and there, if that's the case. But yeah. I have 4 puppies left and 3 kids up. Nice. Oh man, never mind. You're never gonna be in here. you got the duties, right? Fiend Dog, I can't believe you're still up this late. That's crazy. That's good. Hopefully everybody's doing well. We are just enjoying ourselves. I don't care to. What's up, Sassy? I don't care to talk about what's in the news. Sometimes you got to get out. What's up, Dragon Lover? Old Man Butt Wrinkles with the meat spin. How you doing, bro? We are talking some zombie survival because I don't want to talk about the news. I don't want to talk about politics, all the doom and gloom, and gas going up to $10 million a gallon and this, that, and the other. You know what? I have been so out of the news lately. I don't want to be involved in that crap. It's I'm finding more peace just being outside in my garden, producing food, doing yard work. I just like being outside. I've been doing more bonfires and stuff, and I've kind of been regrounding myself away from all of that crap. So you kind of sometimes you got to hit like the reset button, you know what I mean? And like I'm not ceasing my constant buying and stuff, but like I'm not panicked because like at the end of the day, you should be able to look at your preps and say, "Hey, I'm good." You know what I mean? Like you should be able to go look at your pantry or go look at your ammo shelf or go look in your gun cabinet and say, "You know what? Really whatever may happen, I'm good." Would I like more say ammo? Would I like more food? Would I like more of this, that, and the other? Yeah, but when you look at your stuff, you know that you are in a good spot prepping wise when you look at your stuff and you can just say, I don't need to go buy anything to make it. And I'm there. So I'm more than covered in that area, which is so reassuring, which means you checked your proverbial checks off in your mind that I'm good. Like if you have an AR that's decked out good to go and you have another AR that's decked out pretty decent, you're probably good. If you have a couple good EDC pieces, you're probably good. If you have a couple good shotguns, you got a couple good hunting rifles, you're probably good. I got the 22 all set up. I got to go shoot it. I got the can for it, and I got the red dot, and I can't wait to go have fun with that. R just got his can for his 22. He is on the hunt for another rifle. He was looking at something, but it doesn't turn out to be what he liked. Um, he's got a 1022, but he's got to find an optic for it, which, at the end of the day, it's not that bad. But Dragon Lover said, in that situation, just get supplies and go to the sewers. I am not living in the sewers. One, I'm an HVAC guy, and the sewer gases actually can make you nauseous, and it's not good for you to breathe long term. Two, when it rains, you can actually get flooded out, or you can get stuck in certain areas, and then your supplies are not in a good way, being waterlogged, things like that. If a nuke was coming and that was your only, saving grace, yes, I would. I don't plan on living in the sewers. I would rather live like in a tree house, like a sweet tree house. You know what I mean? Because zombies hypothetically probably can't climb unless they're like World War Z zombies. If they're World War Z zombies, we're having a bad day. You know what I mean? Fiend Dog said 22 LR best to have in a zombie apocalypse. I'm a big fan of the 22 LR, but if you're in the scenario where you're like Merle on Walking Dead when he was on the rooftop shooting with that bolt action 22, probably not the best idea, right? A, you're just attracting attention towards yourself. B, you're wasting ammo. 3, 22 from a distance off the top of whatever story building that was. You're probably running out of gas by the time you hit there. And then you're probably also not accustomed to calculating the drop in the shot and or calculating a lot of things. So if you're not making headshots with the 22, it's useless. You're just pissing away ammo, right? In the sewers is the best chance for surviving a nuke other than a bunker. There's a lot of places. I would rather go to a tornado shelter, like at a trailer park, or I would rather go to. You can look up old civil defense, and you can look up nuclear shelters in your area, and a lot of older school buildings, a lot of courthouses, police stations, things like that are actually, old school setup for direct hit nuclear, threat stuff. And they were stocked with supplies. I would much rather hang out in the basement of a police station or a school that is rated. And if you drive by, you can see that stuff today. They'll have like a little nuclear sign. And that's how you'll know it was in that era, nuclear disaster bunker, things like that. Some of those have been getting revamped and resupplied and touched up, paint, comfort, stuff like that, dropping bunks, cots, stuff like that, so people can actually live down there for a couple weeks. Some have not been upkept, and they will not have the current nuclear sign. They got re-upped, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. So Dragon Lover, if you want to check that stuff out, I would, because I would much rather go into a purpose-made bunker with supplies than the sewer myself. Last-ditch effort, yes, I would hit up a sewer, but you can make your own. A lot of old school root cellars were also double use for bunkers back in the day. And the root cellars around here, everybody I know that has one, they're pretty solid. So I'd probably A, would like that. B, you can have a little bit more niceties, and then you don't have the toxic sewer gas to breathe. You know what I mean? Just give me Minecraft craft commands and then I'm set. Nice. All the schools where I grew up in my neighborhood are nuke shelters in their boiler rooms. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of schools, especially small town stuff like that. Like that's one of the biggest buildings in the town, right? So it makes a lot of sense for that to be like the community thing. Now, if you go to the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the nuclear defense website or whatever. It's a government site. It'll tell you the capacity that it can have. And if you look at your town people compared to wherever you live, you'll know that, hey, like on Jericho, yeah, like there's not enough space. There's not enough oxygen in this bunker. So we have to go to the other one. There's a capacity limit. So if you can kind of figure up, hey, I'm within a couple blocks of this and like 20 households are in like, a couple blocks of this, and it can hold 200 people. Most people average a family of 4 now these days. So that means you're already not going to have enough room in there, right? What's up, Rip Quill? We are talking some zombie survival, bro. Well, currently we're talking nuclear survival, but imagine in real life just summoning the Wither. I don't know what that means. I've never played Minecraft. I thought it was super gay. I play me some Helldivers. That's what's up. Like a man, and play some Pokemon. But I haven't had much time for games lately. So it is what it is. Play some Power World. That's fun. Play some Repo. That's also fun. Wow. I cannot believe the homeboys did not show up for this. Tell them they're gay. We were talking zombie survival, so I had a list wrote down at work, and I left it at work because that was cool. So the first scenario was just get some Pokeballs and catch the zombies. Yeah, no, I'm going to kill them, or avoid them. The main issue with it is, hang on, I'm texting. And there we go. Send one over to this guy. Anyway, I got a red dot from Zulisi for the doctor's cut for that dagger. So shout out to Zulisi for shooting out another dot. And that other one, the first one that I got, the otter, that's going to go on Rs57. So we're going to get those mounted up and go shooting. They were awesome enough to give me a discount code. And I will hook you guys up with that now. Oopsies. Which was super cool of them. Where is the... Oh, I think I emailed them. Whoops. TACOM equals U.S. Army Tank and Automotive Command. Oh, there you go. If it's real zombies, then a 22 rifle and 22 pistol, both of the suppressor are perfect. Yeah, Rip, I am very much a big fan of 22 for zombies. The one issue is there's also going to be other survivors. You know what I mean? So like, if somebody's shooting at you with a 30-06 and you got just a 22, I don't think it's a good setup. Like, I think I maybe would have a small team of people. Like, say you had 4 people and you had like a couple 22s between you guys, and then maybe like a suppressed 5.56 or a suppressed 300 blackout, or even a suppressed 308, and maybe you just only take out like key targets, stuff like that, or two-legged critters that can think, right? So you're gonna want some range, and or like, I think I'd be pretty hard pressed to come off my Glock 19. I think I would still run it, just because, you know, for me, like, maybe I'd run the Glock 44 and the 19. Like, the 44 doesn't weigh that much, and it's a 22, and I'm currently looking at a threaded barrel for that. And now they have the 15 rounders. I got a couple of those coming into test from Glock. So like, maybe, but generally 22's biggest problem is the mag capacity, right? So like, for a Ruger 1022, your best thing that you can do reliably is the BX 25 mags. Other than that, like, a lot of stuff, and like, I love lever actions, but traditionally they're tube fed, or you get, I mean, there's a lot of 22s that are tube fed. There's some brake actions. All right. All right. Mad Shad's in. Let me send him a link real here. No bomb shelters here. Sassy, really? Well, pick a basement. Well, in real life zombie scenario, I'm sure government will drop nukes. I don't think so. Maybe bunker busters and stuff, cluster bombs, blanket bomb it, but I don't think they drop nukes. Then you have radiated zombies. That's not going to help anybody, right? I guess less than 50 years before a nuclear war starts. I agree with that, unfortunately. Fiend Dog said they said the same thing 50 years ago and it never happened. Nice. Let me copy this and send it over to Mad Shad, because Mad Shad is the kind of guy that I would very much like to do this chat with, because he can think outside of his box and I think outside my box. And if everybody's thinking outside the box and we get a couple other people in here, awesome conversation, awesome think tank, right? All likelihood, if nuke was dropped on the U.S., it'd be the most populated states first. Yeah, they already have maps. I live in Nebraska. My worst fear is because roughly 98% of the railroads go through up by Omaha, Nebraska. If they hit that, it cripples moving tanks, heavy machinery, food, oil, coal for all the power plants. If you hit that, you basically cripple the entire country, because the weight that the trains move is unmatched by anything. I mean, you could have 1,000 semi trucks and still probably not going to pull the amount of coal that the trains pull today. It's a lot. It's a lot of weight. If you guys ever drive past any highway, whatever, wherever you live, there's trains that you have to wait on, whatever. The amount of vehicles, the amount of military equipment, the amount of fuel, the amount of coal to produce electricity, the amount of food that is grown, cattle, whatever, that's going to be shipped from this side of the country over to this boat halfway around the world on a boat, you're crippled that. We're kind of SOL. Also, South Dakota is a big target, because North and South Dakota both have a lot of our missile silos. They're placed strategically in the center-ish of the country to have best response time. Then I would probably go with port areas, just because of logistics. And then they would also go for leadership. So 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a decapitation strike for government. So, but most of those guys have bunkers and stuff, right? And I mean, the presidential bunkers in Nebraska as well. So I think Washington would get hit, and then I think New York would get hit, not because of population, but because of the stock market. So the financial disaster of trade would be unreal. So I would say if they're going to hit anything, Washington and New York would be probably the biggest crippling blows to the U.S. And contingencies for Washington are there. I don't know about New York so as much, but it would be a devastating loss. No bombs. Oh, I said I read that one. I'm in Illinois. Not sure if I'm good or not. Depends what part, but it's also heavily populated there. So, there's several predicted maps that have been dropped and reasons why. Lawfully, you're grounded. You have a link, my dude. What's up, Groundbird? Groundbird, I think you also have a link, but that is okay. It's okay. Nobody wants to do links today. I understand. So I had a pretty sweet list that I had laid out, and I had a couple options. I was going to roll a dice and see how things went. So for this, rip, slap a black backpack foldable 308, blackout, and a pack, and a good 9mm compact with cans on them. Good to go with the 22s, and you're good. Yeah, I agree. Do you think the U.S. will get nuked ever? They don't have to, Black Dragon or Dragon Lover, whatever the hell your name is. They don't have to. All the controls, I'm in HVAC. I've been in HVAC and engineering side, governmental contracts, large industrial stuff. All the PLCs, all the programmers are all made in China. They all have a back door in, from your natural gas to your sewage systems to your water systems to your power, HVAC equipment, all your backup power for generators. Pretty much everything is ran on these controls. They can get into them. All they have to do is kill it, and they could take the entire country without firing a shot, because you shut off all of the hospitals, you shut off all of the wastewater treatment centers, you shut off all of the natural gas in the middle of winter, you shut off all of the electric in the summer. So many people would die just from heat and cold and not clean drinking water that you wouldn't have to fire a single shot. they've had several issues with wastewater treatment plants. We had units that were in there failing. Our wire was being eaten up by the environment that it was, and I spec'd all of our stuff out to survive the exact chemical ratio they were going to have in the air. And we actually found out through our wire failing that instead of 6% of this chemical in the air that they were supposed to had, they had 16%. And we said, you have to test your water, because at this rate, just in vapor in the air, your water level has to be worse. And that's actually an amount that can make people sick. And turns out that the area that they were servicing was having issues with people getting sick, and they tested the water, and it was because they were adding more of this chemical. Now, the older gentleman that had been there since Nam knew what he was doing, and had posted on Facebook, that he was going on vacation for whatever, a week, 2 weeks, taking a bigger vacation to cruise kind of deal. And in the time that the most experienced guy at this facility was gone, they had been able to bump up the chemical that they were putting in the water to an unsafe amount, and this town was getting sick. And because they know people where they work and stuff, so they took the opportunity when this gentleman wasn't going to be there, who knows what he's doing. They had, I don't know, knew that they had some temporary employees, whatever, some up and coming employees that probably wouldn't know everything. They poisoned a town in today's day and age. So it doesn't take a lot. That's just simple controls. That's just flipping it up. And then after that, they check the control, they change the control, they change brands of control. And a couple months later, they were able to add a different chemical to the water, and they started removing one that was taking out stuff out of the water. So just through controls in today's day and age. And we had an issue on a natural gas line where they were closing and opening a valve to create an issue, and they had a repair coming on, and the valve was supposed to be off, so no gas was coming out while they were welding up new pipe and making these repairs. And they opened the valve a little bit, and they had a huge fire, and it was shooting out a flamethrower, because gas plus a hole in the pipe and a torch equals you have a flamethrower until the gas is shut off. And they had to drive a truck down 16 miles manually to shut the valve off, and they took a lock, like a chain lock on it, to keep it from opening again. So they're able to do that stuff through controls now. Bad actors can do whatever the heck they want to our supply, because we put all of their shit in. And unfortunately, it's the best shit on the market, so you can run stuff remotely. But I'm telling you, running stuff remotely is not what it's cracked up to be, because it allows for these failures. And then you have AI get in with it. What happens when somebody makes an aggressive AI and starts targeting stuff like this? Right now, what we see on AI on the civilian side is crap that's 20 years old, right? The amount of AI stuff that's happening now is crazy. We're testing robotic drones in freaking Ukraine. Yeah. Just for quote unquote logistics and carrying supplies. Guess what? We're at a day and age where the controls and everything like that are crazy. And as soon as they get a weaponized AI, which I'm sure the militaries are probably missing with stuff like this, problems. So maybe we'll have to do another stream later where it's like a Terminator stream that can take over all technology, use the cameras on your phone, have freaking Walmart drones flying out of Walmart and assisting them for things, and crazy stuff that is currently possible, currently being done. I mean, just saying. The new video game would be finding a high spot on a rooftop and spending the day thinning out the zombies. Oh yeah, I would do a lot of that. I think that the Dawn of the Dead, where they're on the mall, if you actually had some dedicated rednecks and some ex-military personnel who had been around the gun store, which a lot of people's plans are, hey, I have my buddy's gun shop, I'm going to go over there, we're all getting armed up, we're taking whatever we need, all the ammo, blah, 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 weapon lights, batteries, decking out all of our stuff to the best that we possibly can, snagging all the cans, and then rolling. I mean, I've talked to some of those guys, and they're like, yeah, first we're going to hit the Walmart, and then we're going to arm up. You know what I mean? Like, or like, you know, they're going to hit Target or whatever, or this distribution center that they know about. Like, these plans are already in people, you know? So um, I think the Dawn of the Dead scenario realistically probably would have had a bunch of people that actually knew how to handle firearms overtake them all just for the supply factor. How much does it take a full nuke bunker cost to make minimum? If you look at the somebody just did a video on that. The Cold War era bunker stuff, you can do it with sandbags and some boards in your house. You just make a small triangle up against your strongest interior wall, and you wall it off with sand. You can do it with cinder blocks and a shovel. There's a lot. That's why I was saying most of like the root cellars back in the day were bomb shelters and also root cellars to put your canning food and stuff in there, because it's a constant temperature. It's in the earth. It's around 50 degrees. So it helps keep your stuff from spoiling. Figure out how to make a root cellar that you like. And if you know a buddy with a Bobcat, get him some beer and say, hey, if something bad happens, you can bring you and your folks here, and you know, stock 10% supplies for each family there with some potassium iodine for 2 or 3 weeks, and you'll probably make it. The only big issue is you'll need to DIY you a HEPA filter. So you're going to need some medical grade HEPA filters, probably 2 to 4 grades of filtration for your air supply, because you will run out of oxygen in an enclosed space with people. So that's your biggest problem, is air filtration for that. We as citizens must start pushing back against all this poisoning and experiments, corruption, and worse if we want to keep things from getting worse. I agree, Rip. What about taking over a Renaissance fair instead? Unlimited prop swords and turkey legs. Ooh, I do like a good turkey leg, Dom VDG. That is a pretty good idea. I would assume they probably don't have a large amount of food logistics for those, but I don't really know anybody who's going to win with a prop sword over a Glock. So, but for zombies, I do like a sword. Okay, it's not working out very good. So I had in my scenario for the zombie apocalypse deal, yeah. If you had the banks, I had in my scenario, the banks are going down, the ATMs have already been tapped out, and cards were starting to decline. And that could be various reasons, you know, giant influx to the system, stuff like that, stuff overloading, people leaving their jobs due to this mass panic, and you know, probably some stuff's popping up on the normie news now to where it's not good. And by the time you hit that point, then you're toast, right? Sorry, I'm in the middle of building our local Renaissance fair to sell the brain. No, that's a good idea, Dom. Honestly, take note of how much food they bring in for the weekend or whatever, and see if it can be a logistic spot. I do also like the idea of like forearm coverage, and I had to deal with like soccer pads. They have like soccer pads for your shin guards and stuff like that, and then like some forearm pads and some elbow and knee pads. I think that's a pretty good idea. Light leather, hard for people to bite through, you know, stuff like that. Problem is in the summer is that leather gets hot and chafing is a thing, but you know, you could take it off, put it on, kind of deal. But if you had like a nice little long leather, like a vest and then maybe like a loincloth type deal, not a bad idea. Pretty light as far as armor goes. But in the beginning of the scenario, you have $500 cash. I put that amount. Most generally prepared people will have somewhere in the neighborhood of that and more. So you got $500, and then I had a dice roll on what are you going to go get first? Are you going to go to like a Walmart? Are you going to go to like a pharmacy? Are you going to go to a gun shop? Are you going to go to like a bulk food location? Are you going to go to like a hardware store? Like, are you squared away? You're going to go and get the stuff, or like a feed store for your livestock. You know what I mean? Um, and get seeds and stuff like that and your fertilizer because your stocks are good enough that you're basically looking way longer term. You want to get a hold of that stuff now. Um, Pretty good thing you can get at the livestock stores. You can get the fencing, you can get a lot of chicken wire, stuff like that. Really hard for stuff to get through chicken wire. So if a zombie's trying to get through your door, through your window, the chicken wire, they're not going to get through it. The issue with that is you have the infection rate higher in your location because of the contamination with the blood. Yeah, that's typically how most zombie stuff always transfers. So that's a problem. Do you go for medical? Do you have people that are medically, dependent on stuff? Do you need asthma inhalers? Do you need diabetic medicine? Do you need heart medicine? Do you need anything like that? Do you need, if you have like a CPAP machine or something like that, or if you have somebody who's on like dialysis, that becomes way more priority because you're going to have to figure out if you can take a system like that or you can't. I know most dialysis areas, like they use their own reverse osmosis and stuff like that. Newsflash, if you're on dialysis, anything like that, where you have to get hooked up to a machine at a hospital every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, you probably have that amount of time before you're toast because they won't be able to power that stuff and keep the water going. Lawfully is planning on scaring away the zombies with his tactical tube top and Daisy Dukes. That's hot, old man butt wrinkles. Yesterday's pomade. What's up, brother? Do you go to just the Walmart to get your general basic supplies? Like, would you go for the toilet paper? Would you go for just some shelf stable food? Are you going to go for propane? Are you going to go for clothing? I would probably go somewhere for clothing. I'd go get 6 pairs of the same boots that I know I like, and I'd go get me a bunch of nice like Duluth or Carhartt pants, shirts, stuff like that. For me, I'm going to go to like a Tractor Supply or something. Like I want work boots, I want muck boots, I want hand tools for gardening and stuff like that. I want all the seeds, I want all the pet food and all the food for like chickens and goats and stuff like that. Because logistically, that's going to get me a lot farther. I know most people don't think about clothing in a SHTF event, but if you're prepping, you probably have your food and your water figured out. You probably have enough ammo. Do you have enough freaking underwear? You know what I mean? Do you have enough wool socks? SHTF's going down. Maybe you go grab everybody a couple pairs of bibs that are their size for the winter. Maybe you go get rainy day boots for everybody. They have a little bit of ammo and stuff like that there, but grabbing some manual come alongs and stuff like that, getting chains and tow ropes and some really good garden carts, wheelbarrows, stuff like that. When you run out of gas, you get to do everything manually, right? So getting a lot of that stuff, I don't think would hurt anybody. Getting your fertilizer, getting your soil, if you had that time, right? The soil takes up weight and a lot of room, but it's cheap. DB Cooper's hitting up the drugstore. I have a tote of knives and socks, of skivvies and socks. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, dude, I got nothing wrong with that. Thermal underwear, man. You don't think that you're going to need that in SHTF after the grid goes down? You're sorely mistaken. Winter will be rough. Are you the guy that's going to hit up the tactical gun store and think that you're going to take it? Probably not. They have a lot of contingencies set for that. Unless that is your plan and you're part of that group, I would probably stay away from a gun shop because that's going to kind of be where the werewolf preppers may try to end up, so they can go take instead of making the sacrifices beforehand like most preppers do to get a stockpile of material goods. it's dangerous, and you don't want your family to be fatherless, husbandless. One member who knows a lot of stuff about your survival gear. That's one thing that you really need to instill upon people in your group, even just in your family. Like, I know so many guys with wives, mine included, they're not really into the whole gun thing. And she probably could not run my AR. She can run a 22 and she can run my pistol, but she won't be happy about it. You know what I mean? Like, if you can get to the point where you have a few people, you have a contingency, like, hey, if I die, make sure my family's good. You can have my supplies, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you don't want to put yourself in a situation to get schwacked early on when those are really, really relying on you. So, um, or do you go for fuel? You know what I mean? Like, do you hit up like a gas station, go buy all their jugs for gas, fill up all your jugs and stuff for gas, grab all the propane they got. While you're there, go ahead and, target acquisition, freaking all the beef jerky and shelf stable stuff they got there. And that's your hit, fuel to get somewhere and to keep your chainsaws, your vehicles, your side by sides, your four wheelers running as long as possible, your generators. At the end of the day, that is going to run out, which is the problem. So those were kind of the deals, and I wanted to have several people bounce that off of. That's okay. The next one would be your loadout. We kind of talked about that already. I think a 1022 suppressed, probably just a red dot would be good enough for me, if not just a scope, so you don't have to worry about batteries crapping out. I got that Vortex Spark 2 on there. It's got a solar panel on top. Probably for the budget, probably one of the best dots in a prepper's library. Yeah, the ability for solar. Same with the pistol dot. If you had a pistol dot with that solar panel, like the Holosuns, really good idea. As finding batteries becomes a dwindling resource, those are probably not the first batteries people would pick up. Most people will go towards the AA and the AAA and the 9 volts, maybe some C and D cell stuff if they got some older batteries and lights and stuff like that. For like, I'd probably do like a small 1-day pack, and I'd have the 22. Depending on what I was doing, if I was going around a mall, I'd probably carry the 5.56 with a suppressor and sling the 22. Or if it was just zombies, I'd probably switch it back. And my EDC is I do a 22 revolver with a can, or if you have a canned 22, and then I'm going to keep my regular EDC. I'm keeping my Glock 19 with a few mags. I know what I can hit. I know what I can do with it. It can stop two-legged critters that can think. So, what's up, Vanessa? How you doing? Electric bikes and a couple solar panels. Yeah, Dom, that'd be a very good target acquisition for resources, because that's unlimited. Driving until mechanically you have a part failure, or if you got 8 years down the road and your panel started finally deteriorating, you're probably doing fine. I'm out moving around in minus 20s in the winter. Oh my God. Well, you probably just hang out inside until you're acclimated to your weather, your climate, though. So you kind of know when to go out and get wood and whatever. But yeah, nice thing for you, Dom, is you're in a lower population. So would you move into like a Walmart in a town? Would you move out into the suburbs? Would you go out in the country? Like, would you bug in, stay, try to go to a more resource rich, which probably has more people? Would you try to go more rural so you had a smaller population to deal with? Because ultimately, smaller population typically means smaller amounts of zombies. Yes. So I'd probably go to a farm setting myself. Just take the supplies I have. I probably would not try to go target acquisition. I'd probably hit up a feed store or a gas station, because I have enough of the rest for me. I'd want more fuel and propane, and who doesn't like jerky? Or I would go to a feed store and get all the solar panels and fencing that I could for solar. That would help, shock away and get some cameras. The problem is $500 at a feed store isn't going to go very far, right? Because a lot of feed, but I would tactically acquire, I would do the boots and the clothes big time, because especially when you're working hard, and I'd get a bunch of hand tools. I'd get the sledgehammers, I'd get a bunch of picks, I'd get a bunch of hose, I'd get a bunch of rakes, I'd get a bunch of shovels, because at the end of the day, whatever you need done after this happens is you got to build it yourself. So I'd also go get the handy stuff. I'd go get the duct tape. I'd go get the glues. I'd go get pipe. I'd go get, some gutter stuff. I'd go get the plumbing stuff, the hose clamps, all that crap. Super handy. You can keep rinky dinking and rigging stuff together to make it work. I get all the screws and nails that I could get. I would have a manual screw. A manual drill. I got a couple of those in the arsenal. I find those to be extremely helpful. I would also look at getting pet medications, because pets need that stuff, and flea stuff. There's a lot of stuff that people don't think about with the livestock that you do need to upkeep their health, and it's there, most of it. So for me, I think I'd do the feed store. I meant not. We have kick sleds for winter, like a dog sled, and you can push it yourself. The group has plans to be semi-rural. Nice. Good plan. Jacob 2A guy. There's an old rundown chicken house on the property, trying to fix it up. Yeah, there you go. There you go, man. Especially working with what you got and not going into debt for it. That's great. Not to mention it's been there forever, so it's kind of like rural camouflage, and you can do stuff inside of it and kind of use that as camouflage. I know people that a lot of old Quonsets and stuff, they've turned into kind of like their man cave, and they put nice bathrooms and a bar and a bunch of TVs, and they have all their cool quads and old trucks in there, and like just stuff they like. They got like their guns, they got like a little balcony range, and like it's a cool place to hang out, man. And SHTF, if you had a Quonset and it just looks like an old farm shed, like nobody would go check it out unless they got invited out and came in. They're like, oh baby, this is bougie. Like you could live in it. Kind of nice. That would be some good camouflage. It wouldn't put a lot of targets on your back, opposed to if they drove past your place or were on a bike walking past your place or whatever, and it looked like a freshly sandbagged up military compound, and you had the neon sign with the big kitchen and the medical tent. Like, maybe don't do that. You know what I mean? So, chat, participate with me. I see we got 13 watching. What would be kind of like your flair, your spice melange, if you will? What would be your interesting carry item? For me, I would do a kukri or a tomahawk, just because A, you don't run out of ammo on it. B, they have good leverage options and impact, stuff like that. The kukri, the way the blade's designed is it gives you the leverage, and you can use it as a hatchet / camp axe mixed with like a machete. It's small enough, light enough, you can get them decent weight. I think that would be a great thing. I don't think I want to go in it with like a buck knife, because I don't think I want to get that close, but keeping that leverage is really good. Same with the tomahawk. It's super light. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It has an impaling side on one side and a small axe head on the other. So you could use it for some survival stuff, but it's going to schwack a lot of zombies. Like Daryl Dixon did the crossbow. You could have a sword. You could have like a katana, like Michonne. Super spicy factor, weighs nothing, super sharp. Good idea. Like, would you have the ninja stars? Would you carry, I don't know, like what would be your guys' spicy carry that you wouldn't think anybody else would have in your loadout and kind of make you individualized in your loadout? Outpost 2031. Been playing with throwing knives? Yeah, okay. Throwing knives, yeah. They don't run out of ammo. I dig that. Tomahawk or katanas. I've trained with one for 15 years. Wow. Yeah. Having time behind something is a big deal. Like, you might want to do like a Tyrone. If you're a roofer and you have a roofing hammer, you're probably pretty good with a roofing hammer. Like, I would take that. or whatever trade you may be. Like, we all have our favorite tools that we can get a lot of stuff done. Like me with a pair of 6-inch Nipex and a 6 or 8-in-1, I could knock out a lot of crap with that, and I love that. And honestly, in SHTF, I would probably have both with me. They have those little farm carriers that you can put a pair of pliers in and a screwdriver. I would probably put that on my belt line because I use those things for freaking everything around the house, when I'm doing garden work, when I'm doing mechanic work, when I'm doing HVAC stuff, whatever, man. I use the crap out of those two tools. And in SHTF, those are probably coming with me because I can do a lot with those. Bro, a roofing hammer wood ball? Yeah, it would, because they're super light and they have like amazing balance. Like, they are made to whack crap, man. Yeah. I would not be too upset if I had a roofing hammer either in SHTF. I mean, some of them roofing hammers are no joke, like $300+. And the guys that roof for a living with them, they are a beast like Tyrone, man. They're just smashing heads. Like, and he's running his rig with his tools and stuff. And like, if you've done that for years and years and you know what to do with those tools, the training behind something rather than looking tactical, it's worth its weight in gold. Like, if you are super duper good with a machete, you've been farming your whole life, your corn knife, you're out there cutting weeds and stuff through all your fields, guess what? You and that corn knife that you have underneath the backseat of your truck are probably really good buddies, and you're probably pretty damn good with that thing. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. Just manual tools. Maybe you're in lawn care and you can rig up like a lawn edger or something, like a sturdier blade, and maybe you're schwacking zombies with a weed eater. That was your thing. Who knows? What's up, Popley? 46 minutes late. I even started later waiting for people to get in.
Always or just never late.
I don't know about that. A fencing tool, yeah. Those little pair of pliers with the small hammer on one end and the little claw on the other end. Yeah, man, if you grew up putting up a lot of fence, you're probably pretty dang handy with that deal. Hi, Lawfully. Do you have anything to bring to the conversation? I know you're driving and you're trying to cut noise, but
I'm really not sure what the topic is.
That's good. All right, we're going to go to the
next one. I know what your topic was supposed to be, but I'm not sure what you're talking about tonight.
Well, it's zombies, and we started off by talking about nuclear stuff, but if you had $500, where would you go first? Would you hit up like Walmart? Would you go to a gun store? Would you go to a pharmacy? Would you go to like a Whole Foods outlet? Would you go to like a farm store? Would you go to a gas station? I put $500. I figured most people have that.
Do I already have the stuff that I have?
You have all your prepping supplies currently, and everything in your house.
Yeah, I'd probably go ahead and just hit a grocery store up.
Okay.
Spend it all while money's
food run. Yeah.
Yeah, one last food run. That's where I get your pounds of rice and beans and stuff.
Yeah, that's my dog. Rice and beans. Is there anything that you'd be going for specifically? Any favorites that you want to have as much stocked away as possible?
Just a variety of beans and enriched white rice.
Okay. Rip said a Warhammer with a hatchet blade on the other side and a spike on top, medium length handle, could be used in one or two-handed. I like that. It's also pretty baller. The old school drywaller hatchet that had like a hammer on one side and a blade to score and smack and cut drywall. Dude, those things are super light and it can be a little crazy. Or like the old the tenor hammer for sheet metal. If you would file down that spiked side, well, mamacita, those are pretty light, and you get the nice little square-edged hammer. I may or may not have modified one for that such reason. Back in the day, when I was putting up some duck work, you become really good friends with a tendon hammer. So
I thought you were about to say you carried around a hammer in high school.
no, I ain't part of the ball peen hammer gang, but a ball peen hammer would be pretty good for zombies too, I think. Lawfully, old man Buttwrinkle said, lawfully, we were actually talking about your apocalypse outfit being a tube top with Daisy Dukes.
I mean, high speed, low drag.
You're going to flatter all them zombies away or attract more. We don't know.
I mean, those people with the like baggy clothing and stuff, they get hung up in the fences and stuff.
That's true. All the people that wear their pants down past their ass may want to invest in a belt, so they might want to go somewhere that sells belts.
You've seen those guys at SAG that try to hop a fence and then they get stuck?
Yep.
They either shish kebab their butthole or they've got their pants down around their ankles hanging upside down like a bat.
Yep. Small round shield for bite-proof body armor. Yeah, I wouldn't be too mad at a plastic riot shield, so it's not so heavy. Because like those ballistic shields are heavy. I wouldn't want to carry that around forever. But a plastic riot type shield, yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Hey, and all your body armor and stuff that you bought and accumulated, because you're gonna like be the guy that wears body armor and sits with
I'm not wearing body
270 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just I'm gonna be running the chest rig.
Have you ever thought about buying a cup so that way some guy doesn't like just shoot you in the nuts with a paintball?
I have, and I've also thought about like that. It's more popular in Ukraine because of the shrapnel issue, but they do the lead lining that goes all the way down to the groin area. Because
lead lining?
Yeah, like the old school, like underneath the what is it? It's like lead. It's not lead. It's
just a panel of
no, it's like a poncho that you put over. It goes front and back, and it goes down to your pelvic region. It's starts with a C. Oh my god, it's old school. It's old school armor. Kevlar.
Cod piece?
No, it's Kevlar. Like it's Kevlar that it's like a big fucking deal that goes all the way to the groin area, and then you put up they're putting their plates over top of it.
Yeah, the Interceptor vests or whatever that our guys had, early GWAT, they had the collar around the neck. They had the shoulder pads, and they had the cod piece, the crotch guard.
Yeah,
everybody just started taking this stuff off because it's not bullet rated beyond like 9mm from like a long ways off. It's just
the big problem over there currently is the shrapnel from explosions. I mean, you can get a freaking $50 drone with a rig to drop a hand grenade,
and not just that, artillery. So they call artillery the mother of war.
Morgan Horde, I'm torn on body armor. It's great for vehicles, great for home defense. It absolutely sucks if you're in thick, hot vegetation and you have to walk 10 miles. Well, Morgan Horde, when I was on my weight loss journey, when I first started my channel, I was about 400 pounds, and I keep yo-yoing. I'm down about 105 pounds right now. I got down to 125 pounds lost since, but when I was really, really working out hard, I was wearing I was rucking with my plate carrier on underneath a hoodie, just doing walking arounds and stuff, and on the treadmill and stuff. I actually ended up popping a disc above my first disc that I injured as an HVAC tech, so that sucked. So I pretty much only wear my body armor, and I don't really have a big problem walking around in it and stuff. Like, I'm comfortable. It's a reasonable amount of weight for me, but like R had some that he bought, and he said it's too heavy. He couldn't move in it, so he has a smaller one that's it's more fit for his body's type, right? So knowing that and being able to get up and down and do push-ups in it and move around in it, there's a big difference. Like, there's no freaking way I'm pulling weeds in the garden with plates on. I'm just not. And I have soft armor that I would probably wear soft armor all the time. I'd be more prone to that. But man, you get sweaty under armor, man. So For me, it's Alamo mode. Like if we're taking rounds and we're fighting basically to either let our loved ones get a chance to attempt an escape, or like it's the final chapter in my book, and it's either a blaze of glory or I'm getting schwacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could just use motorcycle padding armor. Yeah. That's a good idea, Rick.
I know it's a stereotypical fat guy answer. The whole, I don't wear body armor so I can carry more water and ammo. But I really, in the end of days, like if it were like Book of Eli mode, you're not going to wear body armor because you're not going to live the gut shot wound or whatever. There's not going to be hospital level care.
Yep. An infection will probably take you out. Could be a little piece caught somewhere, and you're not going to have some surgeon be able to go in and take that crap out. So, yep, not good.
I mean, people will be dying from splinters and stuff that get infected.
Yep.
Quality.
And I did the medical for people like, you know, with dialysis, inhalers, diabetes, you know, a special like heart pill or something they need to keep going. But eventually that's going to run out. But there will be people that will go. Yeah, but there will be people to go and try and make it past the time frame and hope that things get cleared up before their time expires. But there's also going to be a lot of tweakers that do the same thing to get their fix, you know. They're going to go for the pain pills. So you're Walmart. So I was trying to get Justin and Pat in here. I messaged Pat earlier today, and I had Mad Shad. I was going to get Mad Shad in here, but that's not working out, I guess.
Everybody's got different schedules.
I know. I can't be mad at it, but it was a cool topic because I don't want to talk about anything in the news. I've been taking a break from it. You've been doing like range therapy. I've been doing gardening and yard work therapy. Like I just don't care what's happening in the world right now. And sometimes you need to reset your clock, man. Like I walk in, look at my pantry, look at my emergency food, and I'm like, we're good. You know, I go look at my ammo shelf and my gun lockers and gun safes and stuff. I'm like, I'm good. Would I like more? Yes. But do I need more to make it? No. Not right now, not right this second. You know what I mean? Rip, you want a link? You in Discord? I'll give you a link, bro. I think he's in Discord, isn't he?
I want to say yes, but I can't recall.
I think he is. I think I've always been trying to do a chat with him, but it's never worked out. I've had him on. I think he's came on like a couple minutes here and there, but like on his break or whatever. Oh yeah, he's right here. Rip, check your Discord. Yeah, I've sent him some links.
You sure you hit send?
I did. Preach, TMT. Well, I mean, we're preppers. Everybody here is generally a prepper. If you go into your house today, do you have more than a neighbor 2 blocks down from you? You probably do, man. And you'll be fine. Do you have more stuff on hand than some of your friends? You probably do, man, and you're going to be fine.
Most of it's the 80-20 rule.
Right. I mean, yeah, I want some. Do I want nods?
Probably won't ever.
Yeah, but am I really going to fucking use them for anything? Maybe shooting raccoons and possums, but do I really need fucking nods for coyote hunting? Probably not. You know? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You should get nods. I was going to say it's the 80-20 rule. You know, we're prepping for stuff that may not ever happen. But what I can guarantee is if you get as fixated on it as I know I have before, the stress that it causes is definitely taking time off your life.
Right. Like, am I going to make it if the Yellowstone super volcano pops? Probably not. Am I going to make it if we have a tornado or a severe thunderstorm with baseball-sized hail? Yeah, man, I'm going to make it for that. And that's probably my most realistic thing is the natural disasters we get. Are we going to have a blizzard in Nebraska? Yes. Are we going to have a tornado / thunderstorm that brings hail and shreds people's houses and vehicles? Yes, we get them every year. So guess what I'm prepared for? I'm prepared for fucking thunderstorms and tornadoes, and I'm prepared for fucking blizzards because we get them every year.
Speaking of hail, do you have the like full noodle chainmail for your vehicles?
No, I have a garage.
Oh, 'cause I thought that's where you did all your like secret
No.
footage.
If shit goes through my garage, we have really bad problems. So the vehicle will be the least of my concerns at that moment. It will be survival.
That's that. Oh, hail.
Yeah, we had some baseball size hail here either a night ago or 2 nights ago, and not around me, but in the state. And I was like, "Woo, mamacita!" You good, old man? I found those cards on a work watch list. All the common meds for the betas, heart meds, and antibiotics, what they're used for, and if I can take a pic and post them in Discord, I will. All right, yeah, that'd be cool. What up, Rip Curl?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. Sounds like you're getting all Renaissance out over there.
Renaissance. Well, for
You
zombies, you kind of got to go with the fantasy kind of thing, right? Realistic for just zombies, right?
Yeah, I dig it.
But of course, you're right. There will be some Negans, so you need to be ready for those too, right?
I agree. There'll be some wolves. There'll be some Negans. There'll be some whatever that group was that like was getting ready to rape Carl and made Rick go full feral.
Oh yeah. Well, I never saw the last few episodes, so I heard it
that was
Yeah,
like
that-
season 3 or 4.
Yeah, when they're like out on the road and they're like walking down the tracks before they get to Terminus.
Like the fat biker dudes.
The claimed guys that Daryl was with.
Yeah. I watched the thing where before Terminus, and then I got to probably just about the time they find the dude with the tiger.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
then,
you skipped a couple seasons.
yeah, well, but but I heard the end got kind of like I didn't watch the whole his son getting got
Right.
kind of thing, but yeah, no, I saw something super cool today. So I went to the range. I was gonna go try out this old P38 pistol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm pulling up to the pistol range, I noticed the next bay over, there's this, older lady there, just not old, but older than me, right? And she looks like she's putting around over there and she's got her stuff getting all set up. And so I get over and get set up and take a few shots. And she comes over and she says, "Hey, I don't mean to bother you, but can I ask you some questions?" And I was like, "Well, absolutely you can." I said, "What do you got?" And she goes, "Well, can you show me how to use this loader?" And she has one of those Lula loaders, right?
Mm-hmm. I love those things.
Yeah. And I said, "Oh yeah, once you get the hang of these are the way to go, especially if you have like me, where you're starting to get arthritis in your hands and things like that, right?" And I said, "These are really the way to go." And so I said, "Do you have a magazine and some ammo?" And she gives me the ammo and she gives me the magazine. And I go, "Oh, well, you've got the rounds in there right now backwards."
Oh no.
Yeah, she had them literally, and I'm not laughing at her because honestly, I'm surprised somebody's not out there teaching her. But I applaud her for taking the initiative to go out, get herself a firearm, and I doubt she tried a bunch of them. It doesn't seem like, but she got herself a firearm. It may not be the one I'd advise for her, or I'd advise her to try some others, but still, she got a firearm and came out there with literally zero knowledge if you're putting the bullets in the wrong way.
Right.
Right. And I thought it was cool because I was like, and I didn't make her feel any way. I was just like, okay, well, first we'll put the bullets in this way. And I took them out and I said, they wouldn't have gone in that way and you would have just gotten frustrated and went home. So I showed her how to use the loader and she started loading magazines and she's like, "Oh man, that's so much easier." And I was like, "Yep." And I said, "So this is the front. So you want that to always go." I said, "I always put my pointer finger on the front of that magazine. And when I'm holding it at the base so that I can just shove it in there." And I said, "And one thing I want you to know, treat that that pistol like your bastard child that you're always mad at, right?
Right.
And I said, you're not going to hurt it. Even if you drop it, you're not going to hurt it. You might scuff it up, but get that in there. Don't be timid. Get that magazine in there. And so she was getting that magazine in there. And I said, so have you got it from here? And she goes, yeah, I know how the controls work. And I said, okay, good. So I go back over and I start shooting a couple more at my place. And I come back over and I'm looking at her and she's got her thumb, the weak hand thumb
Behind the slide.
behind the slide.
Yep.
And so I come over and I said, well, how's it going? And she goes, well, I kind of got myself on the thumb. And I said, yeah, I kind of figured you might have because I heard you take a couple shots. I said, let me show you something real quick. And so I went through the whole grip thing with her. You grip with the one hand, finger on the frame, and then you get your other hand like a clamshell. I went over the clamshell with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you clamp it together and everything. And I said, now you just kind of squeeze like you're squeezing a lemon and then keep your finger relaxed. Most of the pressure is going to be on that weak hand and touch her off. And she goes, oh, that explains a lot. That's so much better. I said, yeah, the other way is going to cause you a whole lot of pain.
Right.
If it gets you really good. I said, technically, if you really hold that slide with your thumb, it won't come back, but it's still not going to feel good.
Right. That was probably the best thing you could have done, Rip. And you know what's sad is she realizes things are bad enough that she, as an older elderly woman, needed to be able to defend herself.
Well, see, that's the thing. So she came from Alaska. So you figure in Alaska, you'd figure she'd be pretty outdoorsy. So maybe she does have a little shooting behind her, but I don't think she had any time behind her with a semi-automatic.
Yeah,
okay?
Maybe a revolver or a shotgun over in Alaska.
Right, something big. Because she did say that she did used to have like a 357 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so
Remember not.
And so so she moves down here with her and follows her kids here eventually to Medford. And she must have money because her kid was like, Mom, send me $4,000. We found you a house.
There you go.
And she just did it. So she comes down here and I said, quite honestly, this is a nice place. I said, it's a shame that we all have to have guns for protection, but I'm glad to see you out here realizing it. She goes, well, watching the news these days. And I said, honestly, this is a pretty good area, but you're on the right track. I said I would keep doing that. So she's having a really good time now. So I watched her shoot a few and she's hitting the target at say, 7 yards, usual shooting distance. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she's getting a man-sized target, and I'm like, I said, that's really good. I said, some people miss it that close, believe it or not.
Yep.
And I said, you've hit it every single time. I said, you just got to practice holding on to that pistol a little bit more, and you'll get that with time and practice if you continue with that grip. And so then one thing I noticed is, so I went back to shooting and I decided to check on her one more time, right? And I didn't notice her doing this before because she'd only take a shot or two, right? So I'm watching her just shoot. She'd shoot, rack the slide, shoot again, rack the slide, shoot again, rack this. And I'm like, I cannot believe I'm watching this.
Right.
And I'm
no,
like, okay,
no tactical or no lawfully. I know not everybody in Alaska lives near your crab boat. My aunt lives there and she carries a Ruger 44 fucking Red Hawk when she walks her little pocket pooch. Like it's just, they have elk, they have moose, they get moose right up by their house, and a moose will stomp the shit out of your car with their babies. So,
I walk up to her again and I'm like, hey, I said, I'm not meaning to bother you. And if you'd want me to go away, I will. And she goes, no, I really appreciate this. So I go, now, so when you shoot that gun, you don't have to rack it each time. I don't. And I said, nope, does it all by itself. That's why your thumb got. And I said, look on the ground. And she goes, oh, there's live rounds down there. I said, yep, they're all good. I picked them all up for her, blew them off, set them on the table. I said, now try it without racking. And she started trying it. She's even having more fun now. She goes, that's so much better. She goes, I'm so glad you're here. And then she had a friend come wheeling up, which I think is even better because this other friend also bought a new gun. She thought it was a 9mm. Turns out it was a 380. Shame on that salesperson for not making that clear. Yep. But not that I have a problem with 380s. I think 380s are wonderful if that's what you have to carry because you're wearing a bikini or something, right? But
Yeah, I mean, they get targeted to older people because usually, generally, they're easier to rack and stuff like that. But
well, and this one
yeah,
was extremely easy to rack. Some of them can be kind of hard, the little micro ones.
yeah, I don't
But this
recommend
was one
those.
of those Walther 380s, and it's all alloy, so it was really light. And I said, now this one's going to be really easy to use. That's a great thing. I said, and she wanted me to show her the same
So
thing,
safely
which
strapped.
yeah, which way the bullets go and how to hold it and all that. Went through
Nice.
all that with her again, and so I said, now the only thing with this one is it might be a little snappy because it's a lighter weight gun. Just make sure you got that grip down good, and you'll be just fine. And the cool thing about it is here's two women. I thought to myself, and that's how you grow. Like a lot of times we're on here talking about how to make a
A mag.
community
Yep.
and things like that. And so I was talking with them as they shot and stuff, and they said, "Oh, we really appreciate it." Turns out one of them is from Hawaii too, which is where I was born and lived for a while. And so we got to talking, and I was thinking, and they're having a good time, and I said, I'm really glad to see you ladies out here, and they say, yeah, we're going to make it a point to come out once a month out here, and I said, if you keep up to that, it won't be long before you're getting pretty proficient, and you'll thank yourself for it, right? Because it's a big responsibility.
Hmm.
And so they were all cool, and I was getting ready, and I got done and told them bye, and they were like so thankful and everything. And I packed up and left, and I left the range, and I got about quarter mile down the road, and I thought, you know what? I got to go back and give them my number. Not that I'm hitting
Yes.
on them or anything. Not
Yes,
that I'm
Rip.
hitting on them or anything. But but I went back and I said, hey, I was thinking about it, and I said, you guys said you're coming down here practicing so you can get good. I don't know that I can make it every time, but I tell you what, if you don't mind, and if I'm being too forward, you don't have to use my number or anything. That's why I'll give you mine, and you can decide whether to text me. But I said, you can have my number, and if you're here coming to the range, give me a heads up a few days ahead. And if I can make it, I'd be glad to come down here and shoot some pistols with you. Shoot, I might even bring some that you might like better, and you might get into getting yourself a couple of them, right?
There you go,
Uh,
Rip.
and so that way they can get some, because I used to kind of do that, is do some instruction, but I didn't tell them that, but because they were just having a good time, and that's what it's all about. And they said, really, can we? And I said, yeah. And she goes, okay. I said, just make sure to put on there, this is so and so from the range, because I usually don't answer numbers I don't recognize since I don't have you in my contacts. But after that, if you give me permission, I'll put you in my contacts. I'll have you good. But I thought it was so cool, and it made me actually think of you and your lives and stuff that you do,
Dude, you
because
did
that's
the
what it's
olive
all
branch.
about.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. And even
yeah,
if they don't become part of your group, whatever they're with, their family's going to be better off for them being more proficient.
yeah. Well,
Good
where
work.
they live up in the hills, they've actually got a better place probably than I do security wise, because I live in the valley in the subdivisions. Uh, but it really, I mean, but they bought like an old log cabin, and they're fixing it up and everything. And I'm like, man, right on,
Heck
you
yeah.
know.
Those are your
So I
people right there.
I thought to myself, you know what? That's one of those things where I think that God put it in your path. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, but yeah, no, I wanted to share that. So I'll let you guys we'll get back on the zombie thing, but
I like that. I wanna hit this real quick here. Morgan Hurd, I
yeah.
dropped my email in the comments, or you can hit me up on Discord, whatever. I would totally interview you. We actually did a segment when I first started when I was working out, where we listened to chapters in an audiobook, and I worked out during them, and then we discussed the chapter for a few minutes. Then we did the next chapter, and I did my next set of lifts or whatever I was doing. Um, yeah, we love audiobooks. We talk about audiobooks all the time. I have YouTube versions of them, whatever. I have a free audiobook deal in my Discord for people to listen to prepper uh, fiction, whatever you want to call it, because you get good ideas through books. And sometimes you would never think of something like that, but you'll pick up a couple good tricks and tips here and there that you want to implement into your own planning. So yeah, I would totally do an interview with you if you give me the chance to listen to the book or something. I do a lot of audiobooks. I would totally like to listen to it before I discuss it. But yeah, we're a big fan of like 1 Second After, the Cyber Nuke series by Williams of Ravenshire. Um, just a lot. I mean, we've listened to a lot of stuff, and but yeah, I listen to those two on repeat quite a bit. So yeah, I would be totally down for that. Sorry, I just caught that. But that's right up my alley. Randall Little Adventures. How you doing, bro? This book will blow your mind. Hey, I'm down. We do the A American and all that. Yeah. Hit me up. Email me. I dropped my email in there. It's just at muffintop1776 at gmail.com. Right. At Tactical Muffin Top. Here we go. Tactical Muffin Top 1776 at Gmail. Hit me up. I'll work with you. All right, Rip, you've listened to a little bit. If you had your $500, where are you going?
My $500, where am I going? Probably to a store where I can get, top off. I mean, because I'm pretty well set, but where I can top off my freeze dried food some and maybe ammo a little bit, and it'd be either that or dump that $500 on a thermal, towards the thermal or something like that.
I like that. Yeah. Lawfully was going for groceries. I'm basically just going to a farm store. They got some ammo and stuff like that there, but for me, it's clothing. I want a lot of longer term clothing and boots, and food for my pets and my chickens, feed, and seeds, and a bunch of hand tools.
Ooh, a longer term clothing is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if you wear like Walmart jeans or whatever, and you finally put on a pair of Duluth or some LA Police gears or some Carhartt pants,
right?
Man, they go forever. And I love the Duluth that I got off Facebook for like nothing. They're a couple sizes too big for me now, but dude, they weigh nothing, and they are the best yard work pants ever. Like if I'm sweaty and I start doing something else for a minute, they will dry me out so fast, and I love them.
Yeah, see, these days with budget and everything, I tend to just go Walmart anymore because I'm always wearing shorts.
Right.
Because our weather's fairly mild here. It gets cold, but I like cold. But when I was working outdoors in it, I would definitely Carhartts are the way to go.
Yeah, I love them.
I've never tried any of the Duluths because they weren't around when I was working outdoors. But the Carhartts, I'd get the double thickness knees.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I worked with a guy back when the fire hose pants first came out for him. Yeah, he wore them every single day for 3 months on a job, and he was an industrial installer for ductwork. And everybody else's pants were getting shredded and stuff. Like the corners of the ductwork just cut him up and cut you up. And he stunk because he wore them literally every day for 3 months. I think he only washed them on the weekends. So he wasn't exactly nice to be standing next to while I'm hooking up the unit's controls and their smoke detectors and their gas and everything. But I'll be damned, they worked. Yeah, they were $97 a pair, but they worked great.
Oh yeah, they are damn good clothes. Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody else was saying something that they went down to fill up their diesel and it was $400.
I don't doubt it. Pat said no such thing as too much ammo unless you're swimming. Amen to that. Don't think I've seen a good thermal under 1,000. I'm on a budget. I'm getting an AGM. I have an AGM Rattler Morgan Horde. When I bought it, it was 1,000 muffins, which is what we use to describe monetary value here, so we don't get in trouble from YouTube. But now I think there's 7. They're around $6.99, 7 muffins, and it goes to about 200 yards. I shoot coyotes and possums and raccoons and stuff with mine on my AR, and it works great. I would Cabela's had a good deal on just a thermal dedicated scope on Black Friday. I think it was around that $500 mark, but it was just a 3x9 by 40, 44, something like whatever that, like a typical out of the box off the shelf at Walmart scope. But for a thermal for $5, that's pretty good. Yeah, Pat said DTN Hydra is about 700. Yeah, thermals have come a long way for budget. Pat, you have a link. I don't know what you're doing, man. Being silly. Anyway, okay. So what would your loadout look like, lawfully and Rip, whoever wants to take it? I kind of discussed. I'd have a suppressed AR with probably my LPVO for longer distance shots for two-legged critters that can think. I'd do the suppressed 1022 with the what is that, Spark 2, and then I'd probably do my Glock 44 like up on my chest rig somewhere with a couple mags, and I have the suppressor off the 1022 if I wanted to run it, and then just my standard 19 with a few mags because I'm very, very confident with my sidearm, and I don't want to be in any situation without it. So whomever would like to take that. So the clip-on that I have is not thermal dedicated. I clip it in front of my LPVO on my go-to AR. So it does not have to be dedicated. They can be. That's up to you. I put mine in like a little chest pack rig or like into chest rig or in a backpack if I don't want to use it, or I use it as like a scouting tool first and then I'll clip it on. Kind of like a monocular kind of search and then put it on the rifle and destroy. Ew, a Walther PDP. No, that's good.
Rip Curl knows what's up. If you paying attention when he joined in, he said he was at the range shooting a P-38.
Well, it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, my dad. Well, no, it's more of a memorabilia thing. When my dad came back from Vietnam, he brought two pistols, and somehow one of them got sold or traded from a family, somebody in the family once upon a time, and it was the old P-38 he had. And I saw a great deal on one in a store that was in the original box, and it was a Walther, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of one of those memory guys. So
yeah, couldn't have his, but you wanted one. That's cool.
Yeah, couldn't get his back, but I wanted one. But I still have the other one. The other one was an old Enfield. What are those, number 4s or 1s? The break open pistols.
Oh, that's cool.
I always 38 short.
I've always liked a break action wheel.
Webley Mark IV 38.
Yep, that's the one. It's a good little gun if you can find the ammo. And I don't know, I got bumped off of the studio there for a minute. Did you guys hear me about making sure when you're using thermal on zombies, you got to think reverse and aim for the cold, not the
right.
hot?
No, I didn't, but that is a good point. So you go to cold mode, so everything else that's white around it, shoot the black.
Right.
Nice.
Speaking of those thermals, though, I'm going to try, I think, because I'm getting ready to get a thermal. I want one that is, they make them decent ones, and the prices come down, but one that's a monocular as well as can be used on as a nod as well.
Yeah.
Or a handheld, or even a clip-on in front of your rifle. That way it's versatile. And then I want to get one of those have you seen those Infratech ones now? The little square box.
Yeah, that you can put on like a PCC or a pistol kind of deal.
Yeah, and they've got the better model out, which is the 13. The Model 13 was the first one, and people seem to love it. And the Model 19 is a faster refresh rate and more clarity. And I'm just thinking, just something to have on your rifle on like a 45 degree. So that you can kind of scan the area. I mean, you can use it to target with too. It has crosshairs, but just more something so you can see what's going on using your rifle. Now, I know you can do that with your headgear too, but if you've ever done that, it's kind of clunky sometimes.
I have not kind of done that, but I do like the clip-on feature on and off because I scan with it like a monocular and then I clip it back on.
Yeah,
it's really handy. Saves you space. Saves you from trying to. I don't want to scan with my rifle in case somebody's like, "Oh my god, this guy was pointing this at my house." I'm like, "No, I was just looking through the fucking thing. Just relax, kid."
Well, and I think that Infratech is like $1,500 or something.
Oh my god.
I just don't know what clip-on I want to go with.
Right.
I hear the Rattler's pretty good.
Yeah, they have a newer version of mine already too. Rattler. But yeah, I also heard the DTN is coming a long way too. So I mean, you can get
Test.
Morgan Horde. You can get a pretty decent thermal under $1,000 these days. So,
Well,
I give-
especially handheld ones, because that I think if at all, if you can't get one for hunting or shooting with, having something you can just look through to see what's out there, even if it's
Right.
just strictly a handheld and not weapon mounted, is a must because quite honestly, almost everybody seems to have thermal as far as an adversary. And it used to be if you didn't have night vision, you were you didn't, you were at a disadvantage. Now it's if you don't have thermal, you're at a disadvantage.
right, because you can see everybody who has night vision, even if it's cheap digital, whatever you have with infrared. Somebody with better nods can see it from farther away, right? But with the thermal,
Right.
they can't see it, and that's why I think that's the biggest bang for the buck in the prepping community who doesn't have night vision, who can't afford the night vision, or who doesn't want to buy cheap digital and have it be junk and kind of give you away anyway.
Yeah.
So you can get handheld thermal at or under $500 now. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
decent.
Vortex has one for like $399 or $299, something like that. A little monocular one.
I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, you can get into thermal for under $5, and I even have some budget thermals on my channel. Like the Stealth Cam one that I bought. Magic Prepper had that when he did the announcement for the refurb sale. Dude, I got that thing for like $65 shipped or 75 muffins shipped. Like, it doesn't get much cheaper than having some night vision for under 100 muffins, man. And I picked up that, probably not the best thing, but that one that I got off Facebook Marketplace for like $20. Dude, it's $20 freaking dollars. You hand that to somebody who has nothing to see at night while you're taking a nap, so they have something to see. I'd rather have it than not. You know what I mean?
Subject hopping on you again, but Rip Curl said he would go plus up on his freeze dried food. Just a good time to remind everybody that Peak refuel meals are legit.
They are delicious, actually.
Peak, P-E-A-K, like the peak of a mountain, like the pinnacle of taste.
When I was
Refuel.
going heavy on the freeze dried food reviews for me and the other members that we were hunting with, yeah, the Peak slaps. Just saying, it's really good.
So good.
It's better than Mountain House. It's way better than My Patriot. It's way better than
It's better than some restaurant
all
food.
that crap. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but yes, it's definitely better than an MRE. I think I'd definitely have that over an MRE in a heartbeat.
That biscuits and gravy one, if you tried it, it's at least as good, if not better than any fast food biscuit and gravy I've ever had. And better
I think
than
I had
some-
that buffalo. It was
Oh. You had the
buffalo, and the mac and cheese was really good. And then I had some elk stew one was freaking bomb.
Yeah, the Chad Mendez signature meals.
Yeah,
Or that might be the Steve Ranella signature meal.
for the Ready Wise. Yeah, whatever that one that was like that higher end package from Ready Wise. That one was pretty good. I think that was beef stroganoff. That one was way better than regular from Mountain
Oh,
Town.
the Pete refuel beef stroganoff is good.
And I don't remember where we had it, but we had some chili lime, one like pork chili lime stir fry, whichever brand that was pretty busted. I'd have to
Busted
go back.
or bussin'?
Both.
Trying to be like the kids these days.
It was bussin'. It was bussin'.
I would do a freeze dryer if I knew, that times were coming that were that bad, like currently down the road. But it's kind of a big investment when you can do things like canning.
Yeah.
You get the freeze dryer and then like spend all your free time freeze drying candy and selling it to the kids at like the farmers market. So,
Yeah, my wife does love the Skittles thing. I think that canning's still better because you still have to have a large water investment for the freeze dried stuff. And the canned stuff, you could literally open your jar and eat it. You didn't have to be warm. You can still eat it. Like, if you're opening up freeze dried food and you stick a spoon in there and shove it in your mouth, probably not going to be as enjoyable as opening a fresh can of like homemade chicken noodle soup and just eating it out of the jar. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be the same.
or your pickled
Right.
pig's feet. I know you like some pickled pig's feet.
No, but I'll eat the shit out of pickles. I'll eat the whole jar if I crack it. That's the problem. But
I tell you what, that gave me a whole new my respect for survival and living and things like that. My son and I watched this one show on YouTube called The Best Food Show Ever or something like that. And it has that one guy who goes all over everywhere and eats like whatever these natives and stuff eat and all that kind of stuff. He does a lot of that. Man, let me tell you what, I know people are saying there's no way, like if our government tries to feed us bugs, there's no way I'm eating bugs. But then when you go and watch those shows,
they eat
dude,
bugs.
that's best part of I mean, not just a little part of their diet, that's a part of their diet, and they make it work, man. I mean, they make them good. So I'm not going to knock it if I'm in a situation, you know. So I like watching those because, you know, you learn how to cook them and things like that and what not to eat and what's bad for you and all that kind of stuff. But it's crazy some of the stuff they eat.
You talking about Andrew Zimmern?
Is he the guy with no, not Zimmer. No, this is the other
bald
guy
guy
with he was kind of balding and he had the bandana he wears and he got hair plug implants, I guess.
Now I'm not sure. You're not
Well,
talking
yeah,
about diners, drive-ins, and dives guy, are you?
No. It's
Guy
called.
Fieri?
It's literally called
Guy Fieri.
the best food channel ever, or something like that. And you'll know it his logo because it's a green smiley face that says it on there, and it's pretty good. But it also gives you respect for it. Look, I mean, these people, like the one we watched last night, these people were living in the Andes somewhere, in a place I've never heard of before, and
Will
it's a high
Sonbunchner?
elevation. Huh?
Will Sonbunchner is the host,
Okay.
better known as Sunnyside.
Sunny. Yeah, that's it. Right. And that's the one. And I mean, literally, they were eating like, because they can't grow a lot because the soil is basically just rocks and the elevation. And so they have to make do with a lot more things from animals. And man, I mean, they eat everything, man. Tripe, which is the stomach, they eat everything. And some of it, you know, you'd think, oh, there's no way I'd eat that. But it seems to be good. At least he seems to say it's pretty good.
It
And
could
he's
always
honest.
be worse.
Well, that's the thing is so it makes you feel a little better of, oh, well, you know, could we get through this if we really put our mind to it? You know, and then it also makes you very thankful for where you are.
All right. And there will be some people that will just straight starve because they mentally won't eat bugs, you know, like they're so grossed out. They're like, oh my God, I could never eat a worm. I'm like, I'll eat a whole freaking handful of worms if I'm not going to die. I don't give a shit.
Hey, if the super hot chick that was with him from that country can eat that stuff, I can eat that stuff.
We were talking about that just before I left. I'm not ever
Terry
eating
said
frog
tripe
legs
is
again.
bells. You didn't like frog legs? Wow.
I don't want. Yeah, I have zero desire.
Oh, I like frog legs.
We did that once here as kids. We jumped on all the golf courses because they have those big green African frogs, you know.
You went frog gigging?
We went frog gigging, yeah, and got chased off because we also learned that they had motion sensors on the golf course.
Keep the deer off the grass.
Because here come the headlights after us after a bit.
Yep.
But we cooked them all up. They were good. I mean, it was like they say, is just like kind of almost just like chicken, just a little more translucent.
Yeah, kind of a little bit more rubbery.
A little more rubbery. Yeah, kind of a little bit like
raw chicken.
Like
it's a little
gator,
bit chewier. It's like chicken crossed with like shrimp, kind of like a mixed texture.
Yeah.
Which is
with the chewiness of gator, you know, because gator's kind of a little chewy.
Yeah. A little chewy, a little flake. I like gator too.
Speaking of liking chewy stuff, TMT, how are you enjoying Pride Month so far?
Well, I am enjoying Pride Month, but not as much. I do believe that Old Man Butt Wrinkles is celebrating it quite swimmingly. While we're talking about Pride Month, I would like to say that Zulissi is actually pretty busted for an optics company. I had that dagger I was going to slap this one on for a mag member, and turns out they accidentally bought a doctor's cut dagger, which I don't know if you've ever bought a doctor's cut firearm. It is hard to find a dot for. And
Yeah, people need to quit buying those.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. But it was an accident. That's okay. They got it. It's still going to run. It's a pistol, you know. I told them my situation is like, hey man, do you guys offer a doctor's cut? Because to my knowledge, I think there was only 3 companies that did. It's like Vortex was like the best one with the Venom, and then like a couple others. They have one. It's called the Owl, the Zulissi Owl. They were like, no problem, we'll send it out. I was like, cool. I'm gonna throw this other one that's regular RMR cut on R's 5.7 because he has astigmatism and he can't see red dots very well, but he likes the green. This one's green, so we're gonna do a dual shooting testing video on Zulissi. We're gonna rock a 5.7 for one and a PSA dagger with the doctor's cut owl. So, and it's the donut of death, the circle with the dot in the middle. It's red, but it fits the cut print, and that's the more important thing at the moment. So, shout out to Zulissi for pimping me out like that. I have a code that they're gonna give us away here. Let me get back to my email. I had it pulled up. I fucked up. Here we go. Hang on.
I have that same problem with stigmatism with dots.
Yeah, go green.
I do see the green better. That's true.
Oh yeah, here we go. All right, I'm gonna post it here in the chat. We have a discount code for 15% off. They are a budget dot company, but they are literally walking the steps of HoloSun, it feels like to me. So it's code TMT top. So like tactical muffin top 15. This is the code.
So-
It'll save you 15% off.
Like
Nice.
TM top.
It's TMT top.
Oh,
It should have just been like 1T, but that's okay. I didn't
your
get a
tactical muffin top.
Yes. But it's good till October 30th, this code is. So if you guys want to shout it out, say, hey, yo, I heard this from TMT. I know ACR got a code. A couple other people, Twin Gen got codes. Whatever, man. Muffin Top has a code. If you guys want to use it, go ahead and use it. Zulissi for the money, especially if you're trying to deck out a bunch of pew-pews. It's pretty hard to beat. I'm really impressed with the glass. It's way better than the Sightmark. It's very, very comparable glass-wise to my HoloSun. I couldn't really tell much of a difference other than the HoloSun's a little bit brighter and a little bit bigger window. So that's probably a disadvantage in trying to go side to side. It's not really comparing apples to apples, but I mean, for me, I don't really see a problem with it. I can't wait to go shoot it. It'll probably live on R's 5.7.
I'm going bigger, even bigger window on my next one.
Yeah, I like a big window. I'm a big boy. Delectable dysentery, bussin'. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about.
I really thought you said busted, so I thought you were gonna say like
I might have.
bad news, it broke or something. I was
No.
really confused.
I used that as a good verb, not a bad one.
He's staying hip.
Yeah, the hip hop, the hippest. We're in Nebraska. Things move slow here. Whatever was cool 5 years ago might just be coming around here.
Shit, they're just finding out about the Bee Gees in Hawaii. So
Nice. Walmart's putting in EV stations everywhere. Sam's is going to tap into. Yep, it's just going to hurt the grid even worse.
I don't understand that. You know, Oregon's one of the states that's getting super taken advantage of and pounded because we're just too effing stupid to throw a fit. Although we are throwing a fit. We're just going to see how good it does. But with those data centers and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the biggest dangers that we have. And it's not because of the AI. I mean, that's part of it, but it's AI plus
The surveillance.
the surveillance plus the fact that it's just going to, I mean, the one in Utah that guy from Shark Tank is part of, it's the biggest one being made. It's what was it, 40,000 square feet or 40,000 acres, which is 65 square miles, I think it said. And it'll use in a year the same amount of energy. I don't know if it's in a year, but it'll use the same amount of energy that Utah takes to power Utah, the city of Utah, or the state, no, the whole state of Utah. That's what they said, in a year.
Yeah, that's
That
not
doesn't
good.
even sound smart. You know, when we're already talking about power issues and things like that.
Power issues, water issues, contamination of wildlife from just basic factory running things and trash and just that many people concentrated.
Well, and I didn't realize they were as noisy as they were. I've heard some recordings. Oh,
Yeah, wildlife does not like that sound that reverberates off, and people have said they also have issues picking up frequencies from them. Like the people that wouldn't sell their houses and stuff to the data centers, like
yeah.
they're getting headaches, they're getting sick, and they end up selling their house for way less than originally offered, or they're getting like imminent domain, which is even worse. Like that's some shady shit, you know what I mean? Like it's whatever they're for, ultimately it's not to help and or be better for any of us.
Well, that's
Obviously
what I
we know
don't see
that.
is how are they really going to make our lives better? I don't need to know that much information, and I don't think anything that could be made that I would use that or that I need to use that takes that much information. I purposely wouldn't want it.
Right. And I've been trying to put my phone away. I shut my phone in my truck like all Sunday, and
Yeah.
it was really nice. I just enjoyed myself. I worked a little bit, we grilled some food, just hung out with the boy in his little pool, and then we went running around at a park, and like I didn't need to give a shit about my phone. You know what I mean? It was great.
Well,
So
I
I'd
think that's
recommend
coming.
just decoupling away from technology for a day, and your lives will be so much simpler and happier, and you will look forward to that day once a week.
Well, I think that's all coming for us anyway. I just don't see it going well for those things.
I agree. Invest in some 330 or yeah 308 black tip for the Terminators.
Yeah. Well, what I'm afraid is going to happen is as this gets worse, you're going to get. I think people really are going to push back against this. Like you're going to see things like
Like the Blade Runners in Europe, cutting down flock cameras with the battery powered grinders.
exactly or strange accidents, those kind of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see that because people have had enough.
How are we going to make our custom AI chat videos without them? Well, you're going to have to get your super waifu sexy giant booby girl somewhere else. Maybe a
Oh
real
yeah.
girl, you know? Maybe a real girl would be better for you than some waifu thing telling you to wake up in the morning and here's how long it takes to bake your freaking tuna casserole kind of deal. Like figure it out.
Why do you have to take all the fun out of everything?
Yeah. Well,
I'm a realist.
honestly,
I'm sorry.
I honestly don't like some of the AI stuff because it irritates me. Like when the lips don't line up, or you can obviously tell that it's that this person was so unskilled and lazy that all they did was tell a chat in or an AI make this for me and popped it out and didn't even bother
Look at it.
proof what he did
Hmm.
and just set it out on the internet. I know we've all seen them out there.
I really
And it's
hate it when
like,
especially earlier this year, and it's crazy because just within a year they've gotten so much better. And it's like the low end crap that we get, but like their hands have gotten so much better because like that was the first thing people would always freak out about was like check the hands, see how many fingers they got. They can't figure out thumbs, like. And then like the next thing is like how they use tools, so you can see like when it's like a gun guy trying to make like a picture or something for their channel, and like the gun's super wonky and the guy's holding it really weird, you know.
or how about the one that's obviously made by an AI that's one of those top 10 this or that's right? And
Right.
as he's talking about a certain model, there's just random models that come up that aren't even the one that they're
He's talking
talking
about.
about.
Yeah, there's been so many. These are the top 10 prepping tools you need to buy that are cheap and all this, or this is what you need to do in this and this. And it's, yes, I hate those videos.
But we're not going to show it to you because the AI doesn't know what in the heck it is.
Right. It's like you got to go get some discount groceries, and it just has like a grocery basket with like a raccoon in a tactical vest wearing it, carrying it.
Right.
Like, what the fuck does a raccoon and the tacked out gear have to do with me getting rice?
Now I will say this: the Bigfoot ones are kind of funny. Have you ever seen those where the dude's getting chased by a Bigfoot, or the Bigfoot's
Yeah.
getting chased, and or they take mushrooms? I gotta say that's kind of funny, but you could do that before AI, and I think it takes that creativity away from the people who were creative enough to do it before AI, and
I would
it
agree
takes
with
their
that.
jobs away. So I just
They're
don't think
trying to
we
take
need
our
it.
jobs.
They're ticker gerbs.
But we just don't need it for what it's going to cost the planet. I don't think,
I think it's
or
the
our
ultimate
comfort.
enslavement, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Well, because in those same areas, they sure are good about building giant concrete boxes of apartments or living spaces or whatever they want to call them. High density housing. And that's what I call it.
Yeah, coffin
For
apartments.
you to move into when you can't afford your house, even though they paid you 3 times what it costs.
What cost
The
of living
rents.
crapped it out, and then rent, the biggest waste of money ever.
Yeah, but then the rent went up that much too.
Yep. The universal basic income will never meet. You'll have to live in like cockroaches on top of each other in a little 8x8 shed apartment.
It will
And
be
it's
a
going to
lot
take
like
all your incomes just to pay that piece of crap off.
it will be a lot like Blade Runner and things like that, won't it?
Isn't that just depressing? Like Ready Player One, the pods that kid grew up in. And like
Yeah.
he ended up having like his little game area in like the back of a junked out van. That's what it's going to be, y'all. The pods from Ready Player One. That's super depressing.
Well, I don't even know if you could afford those vans anymore. My son's been looking for a car, and he said those Mercedes vans empty with nothing in them, really. The shells to start with were still like 40 grand or 50 grand.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are doing like that nomad camper lifestyle with them, where they turn them into like a sweet camper. Have him look at, if he wants a van like that, look at the Dodge version. I think they're like
Yeah.
23 grand.
Dodge makes a good one. Ford, I think, makes an okay one. The reason why people go with those Mercedes ones is, I mean, they are a bulletproof motor, and they're also diesel, but they're 4-wheel drive as well.
Right, they're a lot nicer.
Yeah,
Probably better investment in the beginning for the long term if it wanted to be like your camper van kind of deal. But I don't know, guys. We've been going for about 2 hours. What do we think? We were doing the zombie thing. What's your guys' spicy weapon? Mine was a tomahawk or a kukri. What would be the one thing that you'd carry that probably not a lot of other people would carry? That if you were in a TV show, that would probably be what you were known for.
I'd strangle him with a Slishman.
Okay, well, nobody else is going to do that. So good luck strangling a zombie with a Slishman, Lovely.
I say a Warhammer, the one with like a medium length handle. It has a spike and a hammer, and you could use it one or two handed. Like the handle's just long enough for two handed to keep some distance on it.
I dig that. A couple different means: blunt force with the hammer end, or you hit them with the pick end, and
Right, not quite as long as a Halliburton, but keep some distance from them.
That would be
Halliburton,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, isn't that what they call that fireman's tool? That might not be a bad idea. That little breaching tool they have with like a couple different heads on it and like a big crowbar.
Oh, yeah, I think that's called a hooligan, isn't it?
Oh yeah, something like that. Some H word, I don't know.
Yeah,
those are cool.
words.
I think those are. I think those
That's
are
a Halligan.
handy. A Halligan.
Halligan.
Okay.
Yeah,
those are cool.
Those are cool. See, and that's something that most people don't think about too. Is do you have stuff to not only escape and evade, but also for entry into places?
What happens? You get an elderly pair and you need to get into their house and nobody has a spare key under the rug. Well, you got to get in somehow, right? Are you going to waste a shotgun round trying to get in?
Beat him with a can of beans.
All right, freaking They did that on an episode. Somebody just killed him with a can of beans or peaches. Or like that blackout where like that really rich dude is, I got $18 a pound swordfish up in my fridge rotting away. I'm gonna sue you. And the guy came in with a wrench and he tried to fight him for the can of peaches. He's like, I got kids, and he just beat the shit out of the rich guy and took the can of peaches. Yeah, fuck that.
I don't even know what you're referencing.
It's a YouTube video. It's pretty good. It's some kind of blackout series or show or documentary, and like he didn't
Black Rifle
make
Coffee
it.
Company.
No, he didn't make. No, I don't really like those guys. He didn't make it, and then like his girlfriend or whatever like left, thinking that she heard him coming up the stairs because they were on like the 18th floor, and it was like marauders, and they kidnapped her, and obviously bad stuff happened to that lady, but she's like, no.
I saw that one. He cut himself trying to open a can and got an infection.
Yeah, harvesting apples, and he was like a doctor with a sling pack, and he only had like a little bit of antibiotic left, but it wasn't enough to treat it. And he died.
I didn't see
And
that
his
part.
son had the video camera and was like, at the end of it's that one, that show.
That's a different one.
No, you're right. I don't remember what that was.
Because I saw that one too. The guy
Maybe that was the
doctor.
British. Maybe that was the British blackout. No, they got like some dude with an ankle monitor on there with like a mom and a single mom and a kid. I don't know. Just type in blackout documentaries on YouTube. There's like 3 or 4 pretty good ones.
Throw the link to your Discord in.
It's so much work. I think I did it earlier.
Hey, TMT,
but it
you-
gets changed. What?
do you need a genuine M16 owner's manual?
No, I do not. Thank you for asking.
It's thick.
Oh, sorry.
Do you
How
need a
about
5-gallon
that
water
for-
tank?
Did you hear about that one guy that got arrested? And he basically got convicted of having full auto firearms just because he had parts kits.
Yeah, the sailor.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were now I don't know if he did more. I didn't read into it a whole bunch, but
No. So what it is that ATF has changed their definition of what counts as a demilled parts kit,
right.
where they're destroyed. Used to, saw cuts were acceptable, and then sometime back in the Obama era, they adopted a policy of wanting it to be torch cut, like at least 3 torch cuts on a diagonal through the receiver, like so many millimeters width of material, blown out in the torch cut.
Right.
And he's acquired some parts kits that were already stateside, so like they ought to be, you would think,
They should have been
grandfathered in.
grandfathered.
Exactly. And he had that and a demilled law tube or RPG tube or something.
Yeah, he had a RPG-7. Yeah, demilled though,
They've
Wait,
rolled him up.
which is also legal. But see, that's the other thing is they have so they changed the rules to where, okay, so bandsaw cuts no good. Then they wanted cut in 3 places. Then they wanted torch cut, and then they wanted you to torch cut plus cut the barrels. And then they fought that and got the barrels back. But it's always been legal to have these parts kits and stuff. I mean, it's even legal, or it always has been as far as I knew. Like you could go to DPMS and order a full auto trigger group for for an AR-15, right?
Yeah, it's not even
Or an M.
constructive intent until you drill the hole, till you drill that 3rd pinhole.
Well, see, that's what I always thought, but they're charging this guy as well because he had the way I used to understand it is you could have those triggers that, because when you buy an old parts kit for an old gun, it comes with the full auto parts, but it also comes demilled, right? So when you rebuild it, you're supposed to rebuild it into a semi-auto, right? And it was okay to have the parts, but what they are charging him with is they're saying that he had it was readily, he had the parts to make it readily available to to change into a full auto, which really isn't true because the intent isn't until he drills the third hole and does some other fitting, minor fitting and stuff like that. So until he
Yeah,
does
constructive
that, as
intent.
long as they're in, they don't have the constructive intent. So it should be, as long as you have them in two different places, you have the parts in a parts box in your garage and you have the rifle in your house or whatever, and they're not together, put together, it shouldn't have been a problem. But they did stack those charges on him. So it'll be interesting to see how that all comes out with some of those charges. But I know they ruled on the original one, I think, but that's just not right because there's millions of people that used to shop on Shotgun. What was that newspaper thing?
Shotgun
Was it,
News.
Shotgun
Shotgun?
wads,
Yeah, Shotgun News.
wad cutters.
And it's just not right. People need to start like in our state, we're still fighting it. But they, FRTs and binaries have been legal forever, and people have been buying them, and then FRTs went legal to the feds, and then it wasn't but a few months later the state passed something here where they made any kind of parts that enhance the rate of fire illegal, and they didn't grandfather anybody. Well, that you can't do that. You can't make people
Felons for having shit that was legal a couple years ago and they bought it.
Yeah,
That's
they should have at
bold.
least given us the ability to serialize them.
Go for it, Pat.
The trouble you're going to run into is that the rules that the ATF puts out and even the letters and any of those things, they were just opinions, and like
Right.
the ATF would recommend prosecution if they found a parts kit in a certain condition. A prosecutor can charge you for whatever the hell they want to charge you for, and it's going to go through the courts. The ATF, opinions have nothing to do with what happens in court. You got to take it all the way to the Supreme Court to get your final decision on that.
Well, let's hope it bites them in the ass when that it does go to the Supreme Court and it gets into the right one. And then once they make a ruling on it and say that's unconstitutional, you guys can't do that. And then it's set in gold. It may, like I say, it could lead, if things go exactly right, to the end of the NFA, slowly, piece by piece. Just
Pat.
like we've seen pistol braces come back.
Pat, we missed you. Did you catch any of the chat beforehand?
I heard a little bit about the zombie preparations. Like, I'm assuming it was if you had $500 to spend and you knew it was coming.
It's $500. Things are going down, so it's like your emergency fund that's in your safe. I figured $500 was a reasonable amount of that people may have cash on hand. So would you hit up like the Walmart for some groceries and a couple odds and ends? Would you hit up like the gas station, load up on fuel and propane and some jerky? Would you hit up like outdoors sportsman store for some more ammo, pew pew stuff? Now, granted, you have $500 because like card machines and stuff aren't working, ATMs are down. Or would you hit up like a feed store? Would you hit up a pharmacy? Like, what would your priority be with your last $500 and say probably your last normal-ish run before like the zombies are 100% amok?
Me personally, I think I would head to any kind of bulk food store,
Okay.
Sam's Club or
Costco,
one of those places where you could get bulk food and just grab as many calories as I could find, because I'm pretty good. I'm pretty set on just about everything else, and you just never have enough food. Just
Okay.
like, like I said, ammo.
Unless you're
There's
swimming.
there's never too much ammo unless you're swimming. There's never enough food. Like, just quite literally, there is never enough food.
Are you saying you're going to eat every day for the rest of your life?
I'm gonna try like hell until my until my garden comes in.
Yep, heard that. Okay.
And then
So I
what was
picked
it?
like a outdoor. I picked like a feed store because I'm gonna get pet food and some like heavy duty clothes and yard tools, seeds. So I'm gonna get like the Duluth pants and some extra boots and shit. Feed for the
And then
chickens and stuff.
did you guys do like your loadout of what you have currently?
Yep.
Like what was that situation like? You're about to head out the door and you can only carry what you can carry.
Well, I don't think we heard Lawfully's, but mine was an AR suppressed for two-legged critters that weren't zombies, and my regular ADC because I'm very confident with it and I love it, and I would never want to be without that tool. Suppressed 22 and a suppressed 22 pistol, long gun and pistol. So for zombies, if it's just zombies, I'm 22 taking them out. For
You are
two-legged
all
critters,
in on the suppressors now, buddy.
yes, yes, I am.
It's
Very best.
it's an obsession.
It's not an
It
obsession.
is.
It's a capability that when you're without it, you realize that you want all of it.
Yeah, once you've shot suppressed, like you just don't. It's just it's rude. Like why would you ever want to shoot unsuppressed ever
It's
again?
rude.
Yeah, I don't want my neighbors to know if I'm coming for their mac and cheese or not.
Ask my neighbor. He throws out firecrackers every time I shoot.
Well, if you put the
It
can
re-
back and start shooting them at the firecrackers.
It really is. It really is kind of rude. That's one thing I've noticed at the range and stuff. Is these days you go and it's like almost. It went from like hardly ever seeing anybody with a suppressor to damn near everybody has one now, including 16-year-old or not 16-year-old, but legal age kids out there shooting. And now it's like it's so much quieter. You're just like, wow, this is nice. You know. I think it's a good thing.
Yep, the way
Lovely.
God intended.
Well, that would have been over the counter, but I'm not complaining.
What do you think, Lawfully?
I mean, we're not far away from that.
No, we're not.
I already showed a 1022.
Lawfully's 1022 gang. Would you only do a 1022 or would you do anything else besides your PDP?
Walther PDP.
Nothing wrong with the Walter.
I would take one of my AR pistols, and since it's the zombie apocalypse and it doesn't matter anymore, I would probably throw a blank on there.
Would it increase your rate of fire, this blank?
It would not,
Okay.
but it would increase the stability of my shoulder.
Oh,
Area.
yeah, that'd be good.
Anyway, so I would take like a shorty 5.56 and probably sling one of my long boys over my back for when I get to wherever I'm going. Because my plan is to not be in a horde of any sort. I want to be somewhere up high.
That was the next thing is where you're going to go. I picked a farm.
In a freaking tree house or like a grain silo or something. Somewhere high.
FYI, I will let you know that those grain silos and bins are a terrible place because they have a residue of powder from the corn. It's extremely flammable and they catch on fire a lot.
Yeah, and they're not very armored or anything. Like I'm sure a 22 will rip right through the side of one.
They're pretty loud.
And they're probably full of rats, or they will be.
They got the Husqvarna virus in it.
The Husqvarna.
I think a little suppressed 22 would work. I would not touch my CP33 because that thing is a range toy. It would probably be my Ruger SR. What is it called? SR22.
The pistol.
Yeah, the little pistol. That
Yeah.
thing.
Those things are pretty good.
I've never had it jam. No matter what I put in it, never once did it jam. I'm sure it will. I mean, 22 is 22. You're gonna get a shitty.
You just clean it every decade or so. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've had really good
Yeah.
luck with my TX22, the Taurus.
Yeah, I've heard good things about those as well. I seen they had a
Actually-
60-round mag for one.
I have a 2245 also that I might grab that instead of that. Not sure. Because it does have a threaded barrel, so I am also of the opinion that every firearm you own should be suppressed. It's just rude to shoot without a suppressor.
Unless you're
Well, I
trying
think
to
that's-
make noise.
Well, what's funny is in Europe it's required
I've
on a lot of hunting estates, I guess.
I heard a video a long time ago. John Lovell said that he wouldn't use a suppressor for his home defense gun because he said he wanted the neighbors to know something was going down.
Yeah, but I don't want to blow my fucking kids' eardrums out either.
Yeah, I'd rather like have my hearing for the rest of my life and call 911 on my phone while the guy's choking on the floor.
No, I don't want to call 911. I'm just going to call the mortician. Save him the paperwork.
Well, how you let the neighbors know what's going on is you just take and the one that's still kicking like that, you just touch him with the suppressor.
Ah!
Yowza.
Wait, no, I'm telling
You're-
my neighbors,
you're
say, help me
mean.
roll. Can you help me pick up this rug?
You're mean.
Why is this rug so
Dang.
heavy at midnight? Don't worry about it. We got to go somewhere.
And those things get glowing hot, man.
Yep.
I mean, how many rounds you throwing at the guy? Sheesh.
That's why I
No.
like the videos in all the movies where like the guy grabs the barrel of the gun after the guy was just done shooting. I'm like, yeah, say goodbye to your fucking fingerprints, bro. They're melted on that can. You know what I mean?
Oh
Full
yeah.
auto fucking M16 can. The guy's burning through mags and somebody goes and grabs his barrel. I'm like, oh yeah, they're grabbing the suppressor with their bare fucking hand.
That's the
Dumb
one thing you
movies.
got to watch out for in your mag is you don't want to touch your buddy. That's for sure.
I'm always touching my buddies. What are you talking about? You're first. Rick.
That- I think
Come here.
I think a single point sling has no place in your arsenal anymore because
unless you're a
that
female and don't have bowels.
that thing it's gonna touch your thighs, it's gonna touch your legs no matter what you do. As soon as you let go of that rifle, like the muzzle of that rifle goes right onto your legs.
Yeah.
Or your bowels.
I'm not even
That's a good
talking about
point.
getting racked. I'm talking about the suppressor burning holes in your $600
Not my Duluth.
cry pants and
Yeah. I run
have not,
covers on mine, but
yeah, I haven't gotten into the covers yet. I need to look into that.
actually Sportsman sells them and they're not too, like everybody else is so proud of them. They're like $200. The Sportsman sells a brand out. I don't remember the brands, like GPS or GSP or something like that. And I think they're like $50-$60 for 50-60 muffins.
Dang.
And which isn't too bad. And I've used them so far. They're just like any other cover I've ever seen.
I
got
saw a
the-
video. Dude was making homemade ones out of like silicone pot holders or something. I can't remember what else he used, but I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like $15.
Jeez. There you go. I mean, all that stuff is, I mean, the money comes in for the sewing sleeve that goes on the outside. The thing that really stops the heat is that header pipe wrapper, or they have that hose that goes over that's heat resistant. That's what stops most of the heat.
There's a flame retardant cover that they sell at the Lowe's and Home Depot over by the plumbing stuff.
Yeah.
You're supposed to throw it up, I guess, in the wall if you're trying to solder in the wall. That's what I have for handling my hot suppressors at the moment. But I can't wear it. I can't wear it.
Asbestos?
Yeah.
They don't sell asbestos anymore lawfully.
That's a good idea. I wonder how much that piece of material is, because you can probably just use that.
You know the cheapest one that I heard from was Flying Rich, He just uses a silicone dishwasher mat, like for your dishes to sit on, and he just cuts it to length to fit around and goon tapes it.
Maybe that's where
Holder.
I saw that video.
That's pretty cheap. All right, Pat, what would your crazy your spicy weapon that you would have with you? Like if you were in a TV show, they'd remember you, like Daryl's crossbow or a katana, or I went with like a kukri or like a tomahawk. Just 'cause they're light leverage.
I just
Rip
joined a
had battle
Facebook.
hammer.
I just joined a Facebook group for slinging, so I think mine would be like David versus Goliath slingshot.
Oh, there you go. Waffly, did you ever put a spicy thing down?
Told you I'd choke him with a Slishman.
Oh, right. Did you have a serious one? Did you have a serious one that you'd like to throw on there?
I put a Slishman around you and spin you around.
Oh, you think I'd hate that? Joke's on you.
We can both like it.
Oh, no. No, you have to be in misery for me to enjoy
Happy
myself.
Pride Month, everybody.
Here at the Tactical Muffin Top channel, we do not believe in demonic possession. That is Pride Month.
I'm all about the jokes and stuff, but I couldn't fucking care less about Pride Month. I like Tennessee, how it's
You're the only 10 I see, Pat.
the nuclear family month. June is nuclear family month in Tennessee. And I use that joke. I tell because I drive through Tennessee twice a week. Every time we go through there, I said, "Baby, you're home." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I just said, "You're just born here. This is where you're from, because you're the only 10 I see."
It's nuclear family. Nuclear is how
Nuclear.
Bush
George
said it.
says it. That's why I say it. Cracks me up. That's just nuclear.
How did I say it? Did I say nuclear? How did I say that?
Nuclear.
Nuclear. Have you guys ever heard of a Pro Yama?
No.
Like small engine weed eater company?
No, I'm not.
Oh, are you gonna like weed eat somebody?
Ooh, yeah.
No, this weed
Use
eater
the whole
is serious.
school?
Have you not seen the ads for like these weed eaters, like the Temu weed eaters? This is definitely what this is.
No,
It's
they're
a-
targeting you.
It's a Husqvarna wannabe, like it's the right color orange, but doesn't say Husqvarna anywhere.
Hmm.
It's a Pro Yama extreme duty. This thing came with a straight up fucking saw blade straight up dang saw blade that
We're 2
bolts to
hours
the
in.
end of this thing.
I'm tired.
Right.
All right, y'all. This has been the Tactical Muffin Top and Friends chat. We were talking about zombies because we don't want to talk about the crap in the news. We want to be normal people for once, so we took a break.
We're so normal.
Well, the thing is, zombies is a stand-in for like worst case scenario,
Yeah,
and it's just fun.
that's what I said. It could be zombies. It could be Terminators. It could be aliens. I mean, it could be werewolves. It could be super flying demons. Like whatever it is, this worst case scenario will cover all of it. But
Just doing
welcome
laundry.
back, Rip. Hopefully everybody has a good evening. Closing statements from anybody on the panel?
Prep what you eat and eat what you prep.
Spread the word with whoever you see. You never know when an opportunity to find more like-minded people will happen.
Yep. Go back and
Price
listen
is
to Pat.
king.
Rip found them. All right. Muffin Top and Friends out for now. Stay vigilant, get fit, stack supplies, and find your people and work together. Muffin Top out.
Eat beef.
Hey-o.